Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Al Stock Trades. How's everybody doing today? All right, ladies and gentlemen, mic check, mic check. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Just wanted to go ahead and just talk to you guys. We made a few discoveries on our platform, the stock terminal. This is going to be highly, highly not only educational, but the material that you are about to see is, you see it, and it's going to be you're going to realize why Wall Street always wins, right? Because retail investors don't have access to this type of quantitative information. So we've turned ourselves into a quant style research software, and I'm going to show you some really cool things that let me show the comments here. My apologies. Mic works. Good. Sorry, I'm just going to show the comments now. So when you comment, it'll show on the bottom, was it bottom right? But this information is going to be incredibly amazing. And if you have any questions, please ask them. Okay. There are no such thing as stupid questions. Ask questions in the chat because this is very important. Okay. This is some pretty high level shit. Okay. And I break it down so simply, but if you don't understand it, it's okay. That's the whole point. All right. I want you to understand it. Okay. All right. Sunday fun day. How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to work. So as always, we are an educational platform wrapped around by a software AI platform that has over 2.5 billion outputs of institutionally graded data. I'm very excited. I wanted to say thank you to all our subscribers. Thank you to all of our lifetime access members for making this possible. You all have essentially allowed me to be able to, instead of, having a Bloomberg terminal and all these other things, we've pretty much been able to come together and really create something that is a one-stop shop. Thank you, Peter Lynch, for many years ago to inspiring me. And without further ado, let's go ahead and showcase what we have. But first thing first, I wanted to talk about this. So this was on Yahoo Finance. Wall Street strategists say stocks could keep rising from records. This isn't your grandfather S&P 500. September defies its reputation as a weak month for stocks, but for some reason, it wasn't this year. And what Steve Jobs said is, in order to understand the future or somehow see what might the future go, we have to look into the past. Unfortunately, many retail investors don't have access to the past data, and then don't have access to the computational tools that allows them to just look at this from their cell phones, which is it's unfortunate. But I have created something that you will all appreciate. Now, do not let this screen intimidate you. You can understand this. You do not need a college degree to understand the information that I'm about to share with you. This is, again, lots of stuff in the background, thousands upon thousands of lines of code. But understand, once I load this button, I press the load button, you will be seeing something that is quite incredible. Let me see something here. One moment. Make sure we... Excellent. Okay, so let me just go ahead and re-put the full screen mode here. And let's do what I love to do, which is show you what these rich bastards have access to. All right, so screw you guys, Wall Street, screw all of you guys. Right? I'm so excited to showcase you guys. This is amazing. All right, so we're gonna go and load it, and within just fractions of seconds, we conduct the analysis. And the beautiful part is, it doesn't burden your computer, right? So we've taken data from 1987 until 2025. And I'm going to explain to you what these graphs are. I think it's better to explain to them at the end. I'm going to explain what this is, but I just want you to go ahead and just take a look at this. Look how beautiful this is. You can switch between line mode or candle mode. So if people are comfortable with the candle charts, you can see how it just pans smoothly. Beautiful Al Stock Trades branding in the back. Zooming in, the candle or the line. It analyzes all the times when we have been over sold, right? And if we go ahead and hit the overbought, it analyzes all the times things have been overbought. I'm going to go back to being oversold for a sec. And then there's a box here that analyzes all the information. I'm going to share with you what this means. And if you're on your phone right now, I would highly suggest you watch this on a big screen TV if you have a smart TV accessible to YouTube, or a computer screen so you can see the data. I want you to see the data. I will explain to you the data. And we're gonna have a fun time right now. Also, there's a little ticker symbol box here. So if you want to pull up, let's say, CLOV, now you have a stacked graph here that stacks all these graphs together. You can add it to be candle mode. You can add RSI to it. You can also add MACD. Now, very quickly, let me just show you something with CLOV. Look how elegant, look how elegant and smooth this is. We're going to go ahead and just scroll to the right and just zoom in a little bit on here. Okay. As you can see, for Clover Health, as the stock started to drop, it touched right on its 200-day and a little below simple moving average on the weekly. And then it had a powerful, sharp bounce right near the oversold territory on the RSI. Not on it, but right near it. But I want you to take a look at something interesting. I want you to take a look at the MACD. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to zoom in on the MACD right now. The last time the MACD reversed to being green, the stock exploded. Then the stock fell down a little bit. And then look, whenever we had a small MACD elevation, the stock went up again. But guess, look at this. This MACD looks like it's crossing. If we go ahead and just scroll to the left or to the right here and zoom in, you can see that we are having some form of a potential breakout in the MACD. That might mean that we might be on a verge of a breakout. And that's just from a technical analysis standpoint. And a lot of folks, you're going to start seeing people now. A lot of people on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, they're going to start talking about Clover Health. And I'm going to show you this one graph right now so we can have a discussion point. If we can pull it up side by side. If you look at the graph to the right, let me first show you a kind of better version of it. Right, finally some TA. Again, you got to make it simple, stupid. Right? How do we make it to where anyone can understand it? And like I told you guys, with lifetime access, we're going to take the powers of fundamental analysis. We're going to take the powers of technical analysis. We're going to merge them together, and we're going to make something valuable. Okay, and we don't use technical analysis to just look at the graphs. Your eyes can't interpret all that data. I'm about to show you what using a computer and quant is allowing us to do. And what you're about to see right now is going to be one of the reasons why I was confident that April was one of the lows. And you're going to realize how I've been so accurate. You have to ask yourself, how have I been so accurate when I said small caps are going to bottom? Small caps this. You're going to realize that I have the power of data analysis on my side. And now you do too. This will be released to lifetime access members in the next 24 hours. All right. So if you look at here, this is the sector performance year to date. Healthcare has been a loser. Okay. Healthcare has been a loser. basic materials, right? MP stock, MP materials has done really well this year. I want you to think for a sec. If healthcare is not doing well this year, then what do you think is going to happen next year? Well, what did Warren Buffett do? What did Michael Blurry do? What did so many other folks have done? They did the opposite of what might people expect, right? When everyone was so bearish on healthcare, hey Michelle, can you talk to her? When someone was bearish on healthcare, you have to essentially be able to think through opposites. Okay, so when people are very bearish, are very nasty when it comes to just a sector, like don't think of this as a whole stock. Think of this as all the healthcare stocks in all of the whole sector. Healthcare is the second largest part of the S&P 500. We're not talking about managed care here. We're not talking about Humana, United Healthcare, even though those were big ones, right? We're talking about all of healthcare. Okay. It has been a losing sector this year. So what I like to do is I like to buy in losing sectors. Okay. That's how I made my money. I like to buy losers, right? Losers that I believe are going to be winners. Okay. Because I know that in the long run, they're going to ultimately be winners, but you got to sort and you got to figure out if one, if you have, if the business is making money, right? Because like what Peter Lynch said, if the earnings of the business becomes stronger, then ultimately the stock price will go up as well. Okay. So what I've done to make a shit ton of money in my lifetime is I look at the overall sector allocation of the market. And if I find a loser this year, I'm like, well, wait a minute, why did it lose? And then I look at all of the losers of those sectors and I look through all those stocks. And amongst those losers, I look at the revenues of those losers, of each company. It's a lot of work. Why do you think I'm building an army of lifetime access members and empowering you with all this data so you can do it too? And soon we'll be able to do it automatically. Where you type in the sector, it'll automatically go through every freaking stock of that sector. Then it will look at the free cash flow. Oh, it'll be amazing. It'll be all automated. That's what I'm trying to build. It's a lot of work, but we are close. We are so freaking close. So listen. So from that, you go through every sector, and I did this manually. Okay, painful. You go through every sector, and you're like, wait a minute, if the sector is a loser and the stock is down, is the company tracking the same way? Is what they're selling, are they selling more of it? Are they becoming more profitable? And if they continue to do that, and ultimately if they do it well, it's kind of like what Jeff Bezos said. I was looking at our stock price and our stock price was going down, but our internal units, our defects was going down, our revenues are going up. Every number was going in the right way. And that, my friend, is what separates a follower between a contrarian investor. You have to think in opposites in order to be successful in the stock market. You cannot follow the crowd. So because healthcare was a loser this year, because last year healthcare was a winner, I think that in the next 2 years, maybe we might have another losing healthcare sector. Maybe everyone's going to rotate into healthcare next year in anticipation of 2027. I don't know the future, but I can assure you that healthcare won't be a losing sector in the next 5 years. In the next 5 years, it won't be at the bottom, right? It doesn't work that way, right? That's not how the world works, right? People think in opposites. All right. Now, if you think that it sounds just too simple, too easy, I encourage you, it's because it's easy because I'm telling you, right? Trying getting access to this information and trying to learn this information Just go to the random street and go speak to somebody. They're not going to understand this information because it's not in their realm. You're watching my videos. They're long form content. Okay. All right. So now that we went ahead and talked about this, let's go ahead and go to our Sentinel model and let's scroll down. So now that we kind of talked about Clove and we did this, let's now put this on candle mode and let me think what I can do. Let me, how about this? Let me reload the page. And let me just load the data again because I don't want the graphs to show. Okay. I want there then to showcase you the data. So I'm going to go to overbought conditions. What are overbought? Overbought is when the RSI is above 70. And there are conditions where the RSI was above 70 in multiple instances since the 88s, right? So if you read Peter Lynch's book, and oh my God, this is so incredible, guys. All right, so our AI stock platform, by the way, the view back there. I mean, it's raining and it's just so. I mean, look at this view. There's a beautiful purplish here. I don't know if you can see it. This view back here is really beautiful. I can't see it. You guys can see. I'm seeing it through the reflection here. So Peter Lynch talked about how in 1989 a lot of money was lost, right? So let me show you about the recession of 1989. So you could see in 1989 we had bought conditions, and then all of a sudden we had this, from so we were near oversold, and all of a sudden we had this crazy bull market, and the stocks went up a lot, right? And then all of a sudden you had an issue. Let me see. You had an issue where we had a huge crash, right? And then we went near oversold. And within these data points, there's a story. And it's hard for your brain. And by the way, this is a ratio. This is large caps divided by small caps. Okay. So the higher the number, it means large caps are winning. The smaller the number, it means small caps are winning. Okay. It's a ratio. It's small caps it's large caps divided by small caps. So the higher the number means, because large caps are on top, right? If it's a lower number, it means small caps are winning. And again, that's just how Wall Street views things. This is what hedge funds use. This is what they look at. Okay. You got to learn a little bit in order to learn what these. And the beautiful part is I break down this data, and this will be in our research reports on our Research Edge, right? It just I'm building it so we can. So you, again, we're an educational platform, so you can go and you can do it yourself. But wouldn't you want to know? Well, whenever we get oversold conditions on the large caps, is small caps good investments? Is that a good question to ask? Absolutely. So let me ask the question again without looking at these lines, so you can understand the question. Whenever large caps outperform, and whenever large caps outperform to a level that is an overbought, when it's overbought, when so many people buy large caps over small caps, whenever we hit a signal where, if you look at all the data for the past literally almost 40 years, if you look at over 40 years of data, and you look at the ratios and conglomerate 40 years of data, which your brain can't do by itself, and we say, wait a minute, whenever we get to a position where after 40 years of data, it's reaching an extreme high point. If I was to invest in small caps, what would be my rate of return for the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 3 years, 5 years? Don't you want to know that? Don't you want to know? But how are you going to do that by yourself? What are you going to whip out a pen? It'll take you weeks to figure that out. Weeks. And if you have a job, good luck. You're never going to do it. Well, now you can do it automatically. Let me show you. So you go in and you scroll down and you say, I want to look at IWM, whatever we get overbought conditions of large caps. When everyone's so bullish on large caps, right? When everyone's so bullish on large caps, where large caps, everyone's like, I love large caps. Large caps are my God, right? Should I invest in small caps? Let's see. Let's look at the answer. So we got about how many data points? We got 20 data points. 20 data points since 1989 was one of the data points. 1990, 1992, 1996, all the way to 2025. And let's look at the returns of small caps for each of these years. Now we could go see if I can zoom in. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on here so you guys can see it a little better. I'm going to remove the comments, okay? So you guys can see it. So let me just zoom in a little bit here. Oh wait, I zoomed out on the wrong screen. Let me zoom in on the right screen here. Okay, so the problem is all this data, you can look at it in ex nauseam every year and you can see kind of how they perform. But what happens if I told you the system takes in all these data points, all these returns, and it calculates the mean, median, percent positive, average max loss, average max gain, and the Z-score. It takes all this information. It takes all these data points, the returns of 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, 60 months of each year, conglomerates it, finds the average, and shows you the percent time you will win. We have that capability now. And so does our lifetime access members. So if we scroll down, and I'm going to show you this later. Let's just scroll down to this here. So if you look at 3 months out, 75%. So the last data point, the last time this happened was April 7th, 2025. April 7th, 2025 is when the reason I'm not reading a script right now. I'm trying to communicate this in an easy way for you to understand. If you don't understand, please ask question, because if you don't understand, then I failed you, right? And my mission, I'm trying to help you be able to live a life that I'm living right now, because everyone deserves to live a life. Everyone deserves to live a life like this. Everybody deserves this, because I grew up poor, to where I didn't even know where the hell I was going to go every semester of college. I had no freaking money, right? I was, I don't want no one to live like this, okay? Let alone before college, I want you guys to win, okay? So if you have questions, please ask them. I'm going to look at the chat right now. Let me just give you this data. So the last signal that we got was on April 7th, 2025. What happened on April 7th, 2025? Right? Liberation Day, right? What happened to stocks? They went down. But wait a minute. Why is it saying overbought when April 7th was a down day? Because all stocks fell. So why is it saying oversold? Because it's looking at the ratio. Large caps divided by small caps. Which one fell the most? Small caps fell more that day than large caps. They both fell, but the rate of where small caps fell larger. So it's able to calculate that. Right? So on April 7th, and I just so you know, I'm not bullshitting you, so you can see from with your own eyes. On April 7th, I almost like stabbed my own eye there. On April 7th, look at April 7th right here. Right there, April 7th, 2025, we had a signal. We have the data for 3 months out, but we don't have it for 6 months, 12 months, right? We don't have it yet because that's the future. But let's go ahead and see what's the prediction model. So we had the signal here, and I can show you the signal. We had it right here. Let's zoom in, and if you zoom in, the chart automatically down under zooms in automatically. So they're all connected. The charts are connected. The interface is just so beautiful, right? If we zoom in on here, and you see the signal here, what signal is this? What does it say? This signal? April 7th. April 7th. You don't believe me? It's hard if you're on your phone. I will take a screenshot, and I will just kind of I will take a screenshot like this. I'll take the whole screenshot, and I will go here, and I will put the screenshot here, so then I can zoom in here. See this little signal here? Signal here. April 7th, 2025. Right? What happened on April 7th? Everybody was scared of stocks on April 7th. What happened to hood stock? Was April 7th a good time to buy? Literally the bottom. Right here, the day before the bottom, April 7th. And the return would have been 252%. Okay? And before people are going to argue, well, Clover didn't do well. Well, like I said, ask yourself, why did Clover not do well? Because the healthcare sector rotation is a loser right now. Because all healthcare stocks, a lot of them are down. But what do you see what I'm saying? You see how there's multiple layers of onions, different ways of looking at things? That's why the majority of people should just invest in the S&P 500, right? But the beautiful part is we take that data and we make it easy for people to understand, because I am passionate about this and I'm a scientist, right? Okay. Now, let's continue going back to the data. Okay. All right. So now we understand that 3 months out, we're usually up 6%. 6 months. So when we're in overbought conditions, is it good to invest in small caps? Okay. So 3 months out, you're up 6%. 6 months out, you're up 12%. 12 months out, you're up 22%. 18 months out, you're up 25%. 24 months out, you're up 26%. 36 months out, you're up 42%. 60 months out, you're up 63%. Whenever you get the signal. And guess what? 75% of the time it'll happen in 3 months, and 100%. Literally 100% of the time. So what this basically tells you, in the next 60 months, from April 7th, the next 5 years from now, we will be up from that area 100% of the time. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? If you look from that date to that date, we'll be up 100%. Powerful. Okay. Now, let's look at the data here and let's see kind of what we are looking at right now. So let's zoom in on the data. Let's see if we can get it all here. Okay, so this is the data for small caps. So here's April 7th, 2025. So we're 3 months out and we're up 22.3%. That's massive. The standard deviation of that is 2.18. It's like massive. It's not the norm. We're up massive. So let's look at a year where the IWM was up around 22%. So let's look at that. And soon we'll be able to do that automatically. So here it is right here. So 2011 is when we were up 23%. 6 months out, 37%. 12 months out, 37%. So 18 months out, 50%. 24 months out, 75%. 36 months, 81%. 60 months out, 5 years out, pretty much 104%. This one was a little higher. You could see still 100% up. So what this basically is telling you is that it's a great time to buy. Great time to buy. Especially that date. Great time to buy. Small caps. It's an opposite. People are like, wait a minute. I'm waiting for oversold conditions. No. You want to wait for overbought conditions. The dip. We had a dip, didn't we? We take advantage of dips. Why did Vivek buy? If you think Vivek doesn't know stocks, if you think Vivek doesn't know intrinsic value calculation, you are stupid. Vivek knows how to calculate the value of a stock. You don't become you don't become this wealthy and in stocks without understanding it. All right. Now, now, should we invest in large caps? Okay, that's good. Let's look at the data for large caps. Again, 6 months, 10 months, 17 months, still good. Now, it's not 100% of the time, it's 81% of the time that it's positive, right? Um, so obviously small caps are good to go. But here's the problem. If you were to analyze now small caps relative to large caps, what would be the better investment? This is where it gets dirty. So by looking at that, you can see there's a lot of years where small caps in comparison to large caps lose. So if we were to say, should I invest in small caps, IWM over the S&P 500? The answer is, well, chances are of them winning is near 50%, maybe 60% here, but you might have above 1.7% return. It's not. It's like if you just look at all of the small caps and all the large caps, you won't be as successful if you just invest in small caps, even though they both go up. Large caps go up higher than the small caps in comparison to the chunk. Why is that? Well, if you look at Russell 2000, there's a lot of unprofitable companies there. There's a lot of garbage. There's a lot of just shit, dog trash companies on the Russell 2000. That's why, right? But if you know how to look through those companies and look at, like I said, is the revenue going up? Is it becoming more profitable? Is the free cash flow? You get to a point where it becomes a lot. Your edge gets better. Okay. Now let's say if we want to compare large caps in comparison to small caps, by doing that, you see that again, if you were to compare again large caps versus small caps from an overbought situation, when they're up top here, it's not a good time to buy. You can see 50% of the time your returns are shit. Look at all these shit returns. Now, if we were to, let's say, go to oversold conditions where small caps are actually winning, where the small caps have won before, right? The last time small caps have won was February 2021. You can see here. And if you really want to be a smart ass, you can open up CLOV here and you can see the last signal. You can see the signal. You see the signal right here, 2021. What was the stock price of Clover during this signal right here? Right there. See that little signal right there? What was the stock price of Clover? Around $12. $12. You see how that signal is beautiful? But the problem is if you look at all small caps, you're not going to get that clean of a signal. It's only the ones that have potentially a future prospect. Now, let's go ahead now and look at the data for if you were to invest in small caps versus large caps when we are in an oversold situation. Again, the percent positive is trash. 13 of the percent time, it's trash. Your returns, whenever you're in an oversold area where if you essentially buy small caps in an oversold condition relative to where small caps are outperforming large caps, you will lose. And you can see here, you will lose miserably, right? Think about it. Why would you buy at the top of the RSI on an oversold condition, meaning that small caps are out competing large caps? It's like buying at the top, and that's what retail investors do. Okay? So think about that, right? Think about that. Think. Of course, investing in small caps is not going to be good because you're buying at the peak of small caps. It's like Warren Buffett's opposite. Be greedy when others are greedy. No, you're retarded if you do that. You want to be fearful when others are greedy. Think in opposites, and the data can prove it to you. What about large caps? If we look at large caps relative to small caps, you could see the odds are a lot better. 3 months of the time, when 88, you got an 88% winning cycle. Then you have 63% winning cycle, 4% up, all the way up to being 15% up, 47% of the time. But the question is, you have to be selective. And you have to look at other criterias. Okay? And if you look at the returns by just looking at IWM alone, yeah, you'll be up, but really the S&P you'll be up higher, 62%. If this doesn't make sense to you, this is why we have an educational platform that is wrapped around the data, because this is what it takes to be, this is what it takes, right? There's a short way, well, not a short way, or both long. There's a medium long way, and then there's an extra long way. Max your tax saving account, do IRA, S&P 500, max every tax savings account you have, and then work for 25, 30 years, and you can retire. Do it. If you don't want to do all this, you could do that. But for the people that want more out of life, I want more. I want more, right? And I want others to see this life too, which is why I created this, okay? All right. So now we talked about this. There's so much to talk about. We could talk about the hazard graph and all this. This is a predictive model. This tells me that in the next 12 to 78 months, 12 to 24 months, we have an 80% chance on average to get to an oversold situation where small caps will outperform. And we already are starting to see small caps outperform. Now, let me show you something that's powerful. This is something else. This is the volatility index. This looks at all the times in the history, even when Peter Lynch's day, when there was fear in the market, and it takes that and it analyzes it. And I'm about to show you something that's really cool. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to load the volatility index, and we're going to go ahead and have it analyze the data. Instantaneously, we go in and we analyze the volatility index when people are fearful. We have the data here around the 90s, and you can see whenever the VIX is above 50, it is a great time to buy stocks. And it only has happened a few times. In fact, less than 6 times. Let's see when was the last time it happened. Let me just zoom in a little bit here. The last time it happened was April 8th. April 8th, 2025. The last time that the VIX was up was April 8th, 2025. That's when everyone was fearful. In fact, I'm not going to mention the name because the point is not to make fun at people. We are an educational platform. I did not know this information when I started. I used to read Yahoo conversations and someone said something bad about the company and I sold because I didn't know. But we had a member on April 15 say, in my opinion, which is valid, Trump says a lot of weird things and it's just hard to buy. It's just hard to trade this market. That was the exact bottom. See, and we have mathematical proof of this. So if you look at it, April 8th, 2025 was one of the 6 signals that has happened in the past. Now look at these signals. And I'm going to take a screenshot because it's just easier to look at it. I can zoom in. These are all the times, these yellows are all the times the signal happened. And you can see it's near bottoms. This signal happens near bottoms and then it recovered. This was the great financial crisis. This was COVID. Great signal to buy. COVID. Buy. And then April 8th, right on the bottom. Everyone was scared. Buy. Look at that power. Just look at that. Look how accurate. Look how accurate this signal is. I am trying to show you something the rich do not want you to know. You would have to have over $50 million at JP Morgan Chase to get these types of levels of data. And now you have it at the palm of your hand. But what was the return of when something like this happened? That should be your next question. Well, don't worry. The Al Stock Trade stock terminal calculates it for you. If you look at April 8th, we're up 24.9% in 3 months. We don't know 6 months or 12 months or 18 months or 24 because that hasn't happened yet. Next month, October, we'll get the 6-month data. It'll automatically do it for you. But look at it takes these 6 data points, 2008, great financial crisis, 2009, great time to buy, 2020, COVID. And you can change the VIX too. You can change the scientific data question. Like, let's say, what's the VIX now? What are the returns? Excuse me. So now look at the horizon. 3 months out, you're up 7%, 67% of the time. Well, we're up higher. So this must be a year that reminds me of 2009, where this is going to be a sexy ass market. We're probably at the start of a bull market, right? 2009, people thought we were about to do a double dip recession. Remember, great financial crisis was 2008. Okay, let's look at 6 months out, 8.7% up, but again, 60% of the time. Guys, 18 months is where it's at. 100% of the time, we're going to be up 32%. 100% of the time, in 24 months, we're going to be up 44%. 100% of the time, in 60 months, we're going to be up 103%. We are literally taking fear, the volatility index, and when people are scared, they say, in my opinion, it's just hard to trade the market. We take those opinions, we say, okay, I feel this way. I'm going to put my feelings to the side. I'm going to look at the data and I'm going to see what the data says. Wow, the data says it is the best time to buy right now. Okay, I feel this way. The market feels this way. CNBC feels this way. Could it mean that I need to think in opposites? That is the power that I'm trying to create. I put God first in everything that I do, right? And the fact that I'm able to do this amazing, just all these amazing things that normally hundreds, 200 quant funds have to do, and I'm doing it within my bare hands, shows you the power of God is literally shining right through this platform. I'm working my ass off, and I put God in every line of code that I write. Every line of code is I put God first in everything I do, and the goal is simple: to allow you to live a life to where you have ample free time for you to be financially independent so you can do whatever you want in the world. And my hopes is you find God. As you can see, there's a lot of data here. This is the next iteration of the Al Stock Trades platform. Not only do we calculate intrinsic value, we now have history on the palm of our hands. And soon it'll be much, much more. Okay. I'm going to go to the comments just so I haven't looked at them in a while, so I'm scrolling up here. Let's see. When Clove hits 20, the first thing I'll do is, we'll be here. The terminal will probably be 10 to 15, 20K, 30K. Because again, this data this is expensive, guys, right? It's expensive. And there's Rafiki. So there it is. Probably costs 50K. Rafiki got it, right? I won't mind paying 50K. You see, and that's the thing. This is the power. And listen, guys, I'm going to try to keep it low as much as I can, right? Even if I have to do my covered calls, cash secured puts to be able to pay for this, because I want to bring as many people as I can on the ship. You see the data. You please rewatch this video. Please just pause it, watch it on a big TV where you can look at the numbers. And I want you to get off of the couch, pause the video, and look at the table and look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Look at them, and then pull out your phone or another computer if you can, and look at the stock market and be like, wait a minute, like fact check everything, show you, see, open your eyes, see this, see it. Okay. Over like 2K right now. Doesn't make sense. You got it, Rafiki. Does this look like a $2,800 platform lifetime access? Does that make sense? And soon people will realize that. You know. Let's see here. Any questions on the information? We'll talk about. We'll talk about Clover. I just want you. I just want you to show you kind of why I'm bullish. Right? Look at like. Why am I bullish? I hope if you don't get it, please rewatch the video. It's about the sector, but sometimes small caps become mid caps. Clover's on the verge of becoming a mid cap, and mid caps sometimes become large caps. And it's a beautiful thing to see that happen. A very beautiful thing. I was going to turn Alan Ackman pretty soon when Clove blows. That's so funny. Or Albert Polyhopatia. No, man. Chamath is going to be Chamath Allen. Right? Chamath Allen. Right? Albert Buffett. Chamath Buffett. That'd be funny. Bill Buffett. Bill Buffett rolls off really nice. Bill Ackman is, I like Ackman, but Bill Buffett just, my name is Bill Buffett. Just comes off the tongue, doesn't it? Amazing depth of information. I appreciate you. Yes, I need to see that. I need to. I haven't. I just saw glimpses of it on Twitter. I need to see the whole speech. I appreciate you guys a lot. Got my mom to switch to Clover Health. She was at Bravin Health in New Jersey. Lower cost copay was the main reason. Excellent, excellent. Let's see. I was part of the Sarah project at JP Morgan Chase. I started collecting data on Lotus spreadsheets. If you buy Bloomberg, the data starts at 1988. That is when my spreadsheets started. And when does our data start? Are you starting to realize what I'm creating? You realize this now, right? I'm sick and tired of the rich getting richer. I'm sick and tired of certain families having all the wealth. It's time for people like us to win. Again, my apologies for acting like Mr. McMahon about the W-2 employee. Bro, I'm getting a W-2 right now from like, like the whole med school thing, right? I'm trying to show you how these people think. These people are, I'm not trying to call for violence against the rich. That's not what I'm trying to do. I want you to become the rich. Okay? Please don't quit your W-2 job. Use that to pay off your bullshit and so you can invest more. Okay? I'm just trying to break you. I'm just trying to zap you. I'm trying to put you in an uncomfortable situation. I'm trying to say something to just kind of shock you. Sometimes people need to get shocked. I've been like that. Sometimes you just like die. You just die. You're living, but you're dead. You're not alive. I'm trying to wake you up. Right? You don't have to work for the big man your whole life. Okay? This country will dry you out to your bone. Okay? I don't want that to happen to you. Okay? All right. Please keep it low as long as possible. I have 300 shares and Ray, I'm going to go ahead. I'm fighting it, right? You can see the amount of data and it's a lot. But as the usage becomes higher, the cost will go up and all that stuff, right? Because I have to But what I'll do is I can do the covered calls and stuff and have that, and I'll make a lot of money on that. I'll be able to support the platform so to keep the price low. So again, the point is try to bring as many people as possible. Okay. Look at the other stocks I talked about: RGTI, MP stock, SoFi, Palantir. You saw it, right? You saw those prices, right? HIMS, Hood, Sterling. I mean, there's so many other ones. Just look at the videos. People, you guys see it, right? Okay. Appreciate you, Clove, to your time. I love you guys. Love you, love you, love you. I purchased Open back when you mentioned it was at 70 cents, made 100, which I used. So the thing with Open is it was around 60. It was around 80 cents when I was 89 cents when I was talking about it. I did a book value analysis and I said that in 2 years, it should drop to 50 cents. It dropped to 50 cents within 2 months. So it was oversold lower than book value. And a lot of our members were like, hey, this is below book value. That's what we did for Clove. And then we went ahead and, some of them got it. And if they do a business turnaround, yeah, you'll see a $15, $20 stock, maybe 35, right? The business turnaround hasn't happened yet, but I would say management turnaround has. So, yeah, right. And the covered calls, you just reminded me of the covered calls. Oh yeah, I have to gloat for a second. I got 3 people to join the platform, and it's the best investment of each of their lives. I appreciate you, Clove, to return. And that's the thing. When you have other people recommend the platform, listen, if I was out here scamming folks, you're gonna have lifetime access members like, screw this guy, blah blah blah, right? Again, guys, I'm giving my all to this. I'm my mind, my body, my spirit, I'm giving everything to this platform. Right? Medicine is a joke. Medicine is a joke. Medicine is such a bullshit joke. It's a lie. Medicine is a lie. Right? That's what I've come out of healthcare. Right? It is not healthcare. It is sick care. Right? I went to medical school to heal, to do preventative disease and all this. You know what I'm doing? I'm doing disease management. I'm catching the plane when it falls. I'm not keeping the plane high. I'm trying to keep people alive. Right? I'm not trying to help people live. I'm trying to keep people alive. And by the time you come to me, it's already too late. And if you go to every publication that talks about public health and their little limitation section under discussion, you know what they say? More government funding needs to happen. More government funding needs to happen. And we need more funding. We need more funding. That's their answer. We're talking about Harvard publications. We're talking about all these people, all these this whole institution, all this brain power, and their answer is we need more funding. Motherfucker, I'm gonna fucking show you how I fucking found the funding, and you can do it too. I'm gonna open up the fucking purse of Wall Street, and you're gonna get every fucking dollar bill these rich bastards have. I'm sick and tired of the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. I'm fucking pissed. I have to eat from fucking trash to survive. That's where I came from. And no Republican and no Democrat helped me. I helped myself. So fuck both sides. Okay? Yes, am I angry? Of course I'm angry. I'm sorry. I'm vulgar? Yeah, I am. How would you be when you see families lose their loved ones because they can't afford health care? When someone has a meningioma that they can't afford to be taken out, he has to go sell his house, right, in order to do the meningioma. But he can't sell his house because how is he going to afford his kids? So he let the meningioma grow until he died. That's where we're at right now. I'm pissed. This is personal. This is personal for me. This is personal. Okay? So excuse my language, but you want to have someone like me who's a bull? Because whatever barrier that comes in my way, I don't care how thick the barrier is. I got God on my side. And we're going to help a lot of people out. We're going to help a lot of people out. God bless you all, and I'll see you on the next one.